Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders from across the globe. Thank you for tuning in to Live with Oscar. And of course, the MetaStock, you can call it a summit. I say it's a place where you learn a lot of great stuff about how to use charts from the presenters at MetaStock. So I thank all of you, Scott, Lynn, Jeff, Kelly, everyone at MetaStock. Thank you for having me. In fact, I just did what I call an Omni camp, which is me doing a 5-day course in London, and MetaStock came to present for me. So thank you again, guys. I appreciate everything you do. All right, so traders, I don't know how many of you know me out there. My name is Oscar Carboni. I started in this business as an 18-year-old computer programmer before there were computers that were on any desktops back in 1982. Somehow I hit the trading floor to go visit a friend, and between what I knew about computing and what I seen on the floor, which were no computers, I thought this is the place for me to go. And I literally started with point and figure charts like these. This is literally a chart that I used to hold up in 1982, point and figure, X's and O's with a pencil. This is gold. In fact, look at the price of gold. $265, $375. This is as real as it gets. But when I started, this was technical analysis. We didn't have computers, right? This is what you had to use. But I spent my whole life wanting to be a programmer, knowing one day computers would come out, got down to the trading floor, somehow got involved with analysis right off the bat, started to get really good with that, and then I used my computer savvy to get charts on computers. In fact, if you trade on a computer today, if you put orders in with a keyboard, if a chart comes up and you can put a trend line on it, if you see an indicator, I promise you, my signature is all over this stuff. I helped create it in the 80s. What I turned out to be by accident was a really good programmer who was a bang-up analyst and a professional floor trader, all in the same human, which you couldn't find in 1982. So with me getting into all of that stuff by 85, I was so entrenched, I was building programs. I literally helped revolutionize what we see today. I was part of the computer revolution when it hit the exchange, when we finally seen computers come out where people could have them on desktops, and we had this huge revolution, if you will. I was there for the entire revolution. I was there for the internet revolution. I'm now here for the AI revolution, and that brings me to the chart in front of you. What you may have seen if you recognize me in other webinars that I've presented for MetaStock, I showed a series of charts. I brought together a series of markets, and a couple of years ago, or let's say sometime in 23, I did a webinar for MetaStock, and I said, I am going to give my fans a whole list of stocks that they should put in a portfolio called the AI Revolution stocks and ride them to the sunset. And in this webinar, I will go over those stocks because this is now the third or maybe fourth webinar that I am doing where I use every single one of these charts, the charts I asked you to put into a portfolio, get long and ride, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago when I put these out there. So we've done webinars since, and the beginning of this webinar will be us going over that portfolio of charts. Where are they now? Where are we going? Are we removing any of the stocks out of our portfolio? Are we adding any stocks to that portfolio? We'll go over all of that first. Then we'll take a look at some commodities. We'll look at crypto. The Omni, Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator, works on all asset classes. So we'll look at a bunch of asset classes together. I have a website. After, I'm going to basically give a lesson for the next hour. Let me just quickly do this because, Dana, who works with me, and everybody who works with me, they want to kill me because I don't advertise ever. I just don't advertise. So let me see if I can do that quickly before teaching you a decent lesson. This is a trading room. I am live in this trading room right now. It's live camera. I keep this on and I stay live in this room all the time, even during the live webinar. Our trading room is live. You have access to this trading room very easily. You will go to livewithoscar.com. Very simple. I'll put it on the screen for you later. Livewithoscar.com. You would literally register. It takes nothing. We don't require a credit card or anything at all. All you're simply going to do here is fill out some information, create a username, give us your email address, And literally what will happen next is you'll get an email and it will go into spam. I don't know why. That's just how the world works. If you get an email from my site, it'll go to spam, most likely. Go to spam, say it's not spam, check that email, and immediately what you'll find is you'll get to livewithoscar.com. You click Oscar's chat room and you will find me right here in that chat room. It is free to you. I am there offering lessons, offering help, showing charts every day of my life, because what this chat room is, I basically spent my life in a trading pit with 500 guys around me having fun all day. Then one day in 2006, they handed us all laptops and said, it's time to go home. All right, well, this is my crowd. It's still like hanging out in a trading pit. This is my crowd here. They gather from all over the world, and I invite you to join me. There's another thing that I offer here, and that is a 4-day boot camp. It's called Omni Camp, Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator. You can just simply go to omnibootcamp.com, and I'll try to put all of these on a page for you before I leave. And you can fill out an application. Again, we require no credit cards, no deposits, no anything of that nature. Fill out the application. I'll call you personally. We'll chat a little bit. Maybe you can be one of the lucky 5 people I invite to my home office for a 4-day extravaganza. I only take a handful of you. It's very limited. I turn down many, but I do approve some. If you'd like to join me in a 4-day extravaganza where I will teach you Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator, all of it, no exceptions, no upsells, you let me know. But that's not what this webinar is about. This webinar is about markets and charts. So I also offer recommendations, and I will talk about that later. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Sorry, guys, I advertise as much as you're going to get from me. Now I'm going to work. That was to my crew. All right, so let's get ourselves ready for the new year. Let's see what's going on out there. So first, we're going to go over the AI revolution charts, and then I'll take you down another chart road. We'll look at a bunch of good stuff together. So you are looking at Nvidia. When I started these series of webinars back here, sometime in 23, Omni started to get interested in Nvidia. I mentioned it to a bunch of traders, started putting it in videos, and here's what I told traders. Here's what you gotta like about Nvidia. This is called the AI revolution. Welcome to the AI revolution, kids. This young industry will keep this market going up for 4 or 5 more years. How do I know that? Well, I was there when the computer revolution started. When computers finally came out, everybody could put them on their desktops, and it started to revolutionize Wall Street. It took about 7 years of an upward market. Nothing goes straight up, but we had a bull run for about 7 years when computers came out and hit the public. Then the internet came out in 1994, March of 94. How do I know this? Because by June of 94, I already had websites on the internet for helping traders around the world. Came out in 94. We had a 7-year bull run in 94. We got from 94 to 2001, straight up practically, a little bit of hiccups, big revolution, and then we finally had our pullback. Well, this is the AI revolution, kids. It was born in November of 2022 when it was released to the public. This is only 24. It's only December of 24. You've got 4 to 5 years of nothing goes straight up, but this AI revolution taking the markets higher. You were looking at Nvidia, one of the first charts that we put into our AI portfolio. Well, we recognized that it was here. Well, we told you about it. It was at the first webinar, and we did a second webinar to tell you to hold on to Nvidia. It looks great. And we did a third webinar to tell you it's at a bull flag. It's about to explode. It just bounced off the 200 bar moving average. Stay with it. It's a wonderful stock. And now we're doing another webinar today to see where it is. When we gave it to you, we were somewhere in the 66 area. It is trading in the 140 area now, and we will continue to hold on to Nvidia. Nothing goes straight up. Don't ever expect any stock to go straight up. But you are in an AI revolution, kids. It is going to continue. I don't care what you hear from anyone on the street. I read charts. Everything is about charts. And I promise you that what the chart shows us is we're in an AI revolution. It looks just like the computer revolution in the 80s. It looks like the well, I should call it not metaverse, but we didn't get that far in the 80s, in 2006. But it looks like the internet. We had that massive rally from 94 to 2001, and then we took off. Well, this looks exactly the same chart-wise to me. No different at all. It's a revolution just like the two priors. So Nvidia remains in the portfolio, holding well, bouncing off averages. You gotta love it. Bull flag worked. Nvidia stays in the portfolio. Next one we looked at was the AI play called AI.Q. It's the Global XAI Technology ETF. We liked it here. We did a webinar again here to tell you about it. We did another webinar somewhere down here, which I didn't mark, but we did it. And then we did another webinar to tell you to keep it in the portfolio. And today we're doing another. Now, one of the things that I learned many, many years ago, you want to learn something today? You want to see one of the greatest tricks you'll ever see? I learned many years ago that this market is built on geometry, and every algorithm written is built on geometry. How do I know that? Watch. Simple. Pair of eyes. You can do this. Anyone can do this. I'm going to teach you a simple, powerful trick. Look at this right here. Let me see if I can pull in a few more bars. Look at this trend line, goes from here to here, right? So let me make it bigger now because you see where it starts. Goes from one top to another, and watch what happens when I extend this trend line. It's all about market geometry. Watch this. I'm going to extend. I'm only from one high to another, and then I'm going to extend. What does it do? Catches all the highs here, catches the highs here, catches the high here. Now it's becoming the breakout. How does Wall Street know to do something here? How did they know to do something here? How did they know to do something here? How do they know it's breaking out there? Market geometry, kids. It's right before your eyes. All right. You think maybe I'm making this up? Maybe it's a fluke? Well, look at the bottom of this. Same sort of thing. I went from a low at the bottom to another low. I'm going to simply extend this trend line. Watch this. Look at this. It goes, let me see if I grab a little tool. It went from here, it hit the low here, it hit the low here, and they exploded from it. How on earth would Wall Street know that? Because they program this stuff in the algorithms. I promise you, I can see this with my eyes closed. I can teach it to you with no trouble at all. Remember, I was here when we were point and figure. It doesn't matter where you go with the music notes that we wrote in the beginning with point and figure. You can bend them and flip them and turn them into algorithms. It's the same stuff we worked on as teenagers. I promise you, just looks more complicated. It is no different. All the techniques I used in here, all the formations, everything I used here, it's exactly what goes on right now, just that I've got them. I helped them get them onto computers where it's completely accurate, unlike this chart, which, God forbid, I ran to the restroom and I missed a bunch of X's and O's. My chart's not right when I go home. You know what I mean? There was no accuracy. This is beautiful. It's accurate. It's simple. So there's a little geometry for you. Wall Street seems to love the 200 bar moving average if you ever get to it on the AIQ stock. But it is all about geometry, and we like to continue holding AIQ.Q. It's doing fantastic since we mentioned it, told you we liked it here, get in here. It's done really well since. So keep that in your portfolio, and let's go look for another. Okay, we also brought to you the AI play called BOTZ, BOTZ.O. It's another AI ETF. We loved it down here. We told you to get in here. We told you to hold it. We told you to hold it again. These are webinars that we've done. So now we're doing another live webinar. And what I can say is it is breaking out. It looks fantastic. The trajectory is there, right? Look, this thing's going in the right direction. Up. That's what we want to see. Remember, when I started to show you all these stocks, the problem with AI stocks at the time is that there was only a couple and they were extremely expensive, extremely expensive. Well, some of them have split and others were very cheap, and that's why I brought them to you, because we didn't want to buy $1,000 stocks to enter into an AI revolution. We wanted to buy $30 stocks. So, you know what I mean? It's still working. We love it. We're going to keep AI. We're going to keep BOTZ in our AI portfolio. If you would note the last webinar I left this note out. These are the exact same charts from the last webinar. We're just seeing how it's done. Look at how much respect. In fact, let's grab a tool. Look at how much respect was being paid by BOTZ at this average. Look at it, falls under, gets above, starts a revolution. Boom, boom, boom. Holds it. Holds it. Holds it. When it gets through, it's big. Right? So it paid a lot of respect to this average. And look, it's even getting away from that average. It is starting to go. The trajectory of these AI stocks look fantastic. Let's go look at the next. Next one was Buzz.K, and boy, is this one just going crazy. Oh, another geometry example. Check this out. Talk about geometry. I promise you that's how this stuff works. I've got a high to a high connected. I am simply going to extend this trend line. How on earth does Wall Street know? How do they know? How did they know? How do they know? Geometry, kids. I promise I could teach this to you with my eyes closed. I've been doing this since I'm a kid. All right, so we like Buzz.K right here. We started to tell you about it here in the 19 area. It's trading at 26, and we still love it. This is a very smart looking stock, by the way. We're really liking this ETF called Buzz.K, but we like everything that's in this portfolio unless it's been removed, and we'll even look at the ones that we earlier removed from this list in other webinars. So Buzz.K stays in the portfolio, looking fantastic. What else did I offer you cats when this whole revolution started? Oh yeah, the Franklin Intelligent Machines ETF. Now, this chart, I'll tell you right now, I don't like the way it looks daily. I would never want to day trade this. Look at all the gaps and it chokes around and it's nasty, but it is staying in sync with the AI revolution, and we still love this stock. We would never day trade it, but we love this stock, and the entire stock's life has worked around the 25 bar simple moving average. The entire life of this stock, it has worked so far amazingly well. It's written in whatever algorithm they're using on this Franklin fund. I promise you, this is simpler than you think. Wall Street likes to complicate everything. You know, they throw the jargon out there, and there's the EBITDA, and there's the float, and there's this, and the inside is, makes you go crazy. I promise you, all that information is right here on the chart without much thinking at all. A good pair of eyes and a little bit of knowledge, and you can be very good at trading markets, even if you don't know what you're trading. So this Franklin Intelligent Machines ETF looks fantastic. The 25 bar algorithm is working. This is the address for Omni, bootcamp.com, by the way. It turned out to be on this page, so I'll share it with you. If you'd like to join me in person for a 4-day extravaganza where I will absolutely teach you the Omni and then make you teach it back to me so I know you've learned it, go to omnibootcamp.com and fill out those applications. And we'll talk about what state it's going to be, what country it may be in, because I'm willing to travel. We'll see what happens. All right, so the IQM looks good, stays in the portfolio. Number 6 we're up to. This is the AI play called Loop, L-O-U-P.K, and another fantastic AI stock, if you will, or AI piece of the portfolio, piece of the AI portfolio. It's an ETF, the deep water. If I remember right, and don't quote me on this because I've studied so many stocks and I usually just use analysis, but if I remember right, these guys have underwater data centers for Bitcoin, for mining, for all kinds of stuff. So great company doing fantastic things. Look at the trajectory that took place. So if you look at where we were in this really, really big channel, and it was certainly moving sideways to up, right? But certainly more up than sideways. Look at the trajectory change once you broke out of the channel. Look at it now. Now it is just starting to run. Look at that trajectory. We love Loop. Keep it in the portfolio. What else did we share in our last webinar that we need to go over? Ah, yes. Some of these we did remove in our second webinar. We pulled out the ones that were non-performers. So this one, LRNZ, we liked it down here, right? We were here when we liked it and told you about it. In this webinar, we gave you a reason to get rid of it. Too many red arrows. We do not like it below the average. We do not like all the red arrows. There used to be lots of green arrows. Green. Then they started to turn red. We don't like red arrows. We removed it from our portfolio on this webinar on this date right here. So that's when I asked you to please remove that one out of our AI portfolio. And you know what? It still ended up going higher. Look, of course, it did go lower, right? We had a big drop, but overall, it's higher than when we decided to get out. So even the ones that we took out of the portfolio were doing well. But this one was removed and it stays removed. I don't know if we'll ever put it back in. I don't like the way the chart looks, the way it jerks around, but it sure is going up. Even the laggards that we got rid of have caught up to this AI revolution. That tells you that they're all going, kids. Let me show you another. Chart number 8, the AI play. It was WTAI.K on Metastock. We removed that from the portfolio right here at this webinar. We asked everyone listening, please remove that. We don't like it. And it ended up dropping all the way to here. I mean, wow. And once again, it ended up going higher anyway. That's how strong this AI revolution is. So even though we removed Wisdom Tree from our portfolio, just looking at it, you could have held that one too. That's how strong this revolution is. What else do we have? We are on 8. We need number 9. I don't have a pre-canned webinar for you guys. I don't do PowerPoints. It's live as it happens. I hope you please bear with me if it's jerking around a little. But yeah, I don't have screens or slides. This is real. It's the stuff I was literally working on for myself right up until this webinar, and I thought I'd share it with you. So you bought the Robo AI Automation ETF was removed from our portfolio right here. In fact, at the last webinar, at this webinar where the dot is, I mentioned that if you drop under this line, we remove it immediately. It did get below the line. We did another webinar to say make sure that it has been removed. It dropped dramatically, and even that one is starting to make new highs, right? Previous highs are here. It got above this high. It's going to challenge that. Even UBOT, one of the laggards, is doing well. AI revolution is very strong, kids. Don't let anyone talk you out of it. Don't let anyone tell you it's over. Don't let anyone tell you that big business isn't going to spend. They're going to spend tens of billions on it this year coming. Let's see, what else do we have? 11, we need stock number 10. All right, so the AI play THNQ, think.Q, we love it. It's the Robo Global AI ETF. Look at the trajectory taking place on this one. Same sort of action. First you had Robo running around. Oh, sorry about that. You had Robo run. We'll just ask that to go back one step. All right. What we were trying to show you is we had Robo running around inside of a sideways but slightly upward trajectory, and look what happens after it breaks out of this trend. Boom, boom. Look at that trajectory now, going crazy. The AI revolution is as well. OmniCamp is coming soon. I've got one planned for the end of January, and I've got open seats. So if you want to go and join me, please go to omnibootcamp.com. Dano, did I advertise enough for you during this one? It's too much for me, but I'm trying, Dano, I promise. I know he's yelling at me right now. I'm trying, Dano. I'm not a salesman. All right, so the AI play think.Q, look at the trajectory. I love it. Keep that in your portfolio, no doubt. What else do we have? Don't worry, kids, there's more after this. This is just the beginning. We're on 10. We got to go to 11. So the Defiance Quantum ETF, QTUM. Look at this monster. Oh my, look at this monster go. And the chart is beautiful. The way it trades, it doesn't chop around. It's just wonderful. Look at the trajectory starting now, once again, that we were able to break out of this channel, although this had a little bit better upward trajectory than the other two we looked at. Look what happens when you get above. It just starts to go. Just warming up to get to the top of that channel. It started to go. So the trajectory is there. This AI revolution will continue for at least 4 to 5 more years. These stocks are going to help you profit on that revolution. Let's see, what else do we have out there? That brings us to, oh yes, MSTR, baby. We added MSTR in our last, well, in the webinar that we did down here. We added MSTR. We were somewhere in the, let's see where we were. We were somewhere in the 180s. We added MSTR with a target of 277. It hit our target, go rock and roll analysis, and then just exploded over 500. We love MSTR. It is absolutely staying in our portfolio. It is a great Bitcoin play. This target has been hit. I will derive other targets for us, but we will absolutely keep MSTR, which we just added a couple of months ago. We love it. Now, traders, I mentioned that I do trade recommendations. Let me see if I can show you something. I send out Omni recommendations. They happen 24 hours a day. It is directly from me. I sit right here at the helm. If something's going to happen, you get a signal. I send you a Discord. I send you a flash pop-up, which is a window that rings and vibrates. You know when we're trading, right? So I send out signals, and then I have two separate entities total up the trading we did each month. When they both come to the same totals, they bring those totals to me. I have nothing to do with adding this stuff up. They present those totals to me. I'm just going to go over them quickly for you. Year-end totals of 2020 was 124,919. Now, that's trading the Omni signals on one lot only, or 100 shares of stock. The smallest thing that you can do is the calculation here. Many of my OmniX trade 2, 5, 10s. I have OmniX that trade 20s on every one of my calls. And I've got testimonials from them that would knock you over, but let's just take a look at the numbers. 2020, 124,919. 21, we did 69,000. 22, we did about 80,000. Remember, this is calculating only one lot. Don't know what you guys are trading. This is one lot trading only. 2023, we did almost 60,000. Now this year for 24, we're already up 71,000. And we got the Santa. Well, maybe there'll be no rally, I don't know, but we got the month of December to bang away and make a few more bucks. So how it went in January is me sending you signals day and night. If you took all of them, you made about 4,100. Feb, we lost 3,000. Hey, these things happen. We're not perfect. March, we made 4,600. April, 24,000 based on one lot trading. May, 10,600. June, 5,900. July, positive 8,200. All positive except for February. August, another losing month. We lost 5,500. September, we made 16,500. October, we made 7,000. November, we lost 2,200. We're already up for December, and I expect this to be a strong month. So we're at 71,127. If you wanted to join my platinum signals, this could happen for you as well. Remember, that's only one lot. You do 2, 4, 5, you can do math, right? Traders, this is as real as it gets. I've been here since it began. There's a lot of stuff out there that may or may not be right. This is as real as it gets. I promise you, ask anyone around the world that follows me. So we're going to keep MSTR in our portfolio. And if I look at the rest of these, let me see, 14, where do I want to go from here? Let's go with, all right, so here's what I think we should do. Let's really turn this up a little bit. There'll be no additions, no withdrawals to that AI portfolio. Now let's go top day. Let's go look at some charts that we could use immediately following this webinar. Where are we going now? So I showed you the AI portfolio and how it's doing and great stuff. And hopefully you bought those and you're holding them. Now let's go to top day, because if I can help you move forward this week, this month, next year, I'm doing my job. So what is happening out there? Let me just show you a chart. This chart right here is the Dow Jones Transportation Average. It is deemed the leader of US indices. Does it always lead? Not on a daily basis. Is it the abstract leader? Absolutely. How do we know that? Well, the name of this is the Dow Jones Transportation Average, right? Well, Charles Dow invented the Dow theory, which includes the transportation average. The market's named after him. The theory's named after him. It works, I promise. I don't question it. That's that. It's the Dow theory. There's more to it than what I'm going to teach you, but in layman's terms, the Dow is the leader. The transportation average is the leader of US indices overall. Would anyone have the slightest clue why that would be? So why would the Dow, let me just see if I've got some notes for you. I sure do. Why would the Dow Jones Transportation Average lead other indices? Well, if you think about this, if you're a company that produces a product and you've done really well for the last couple of quarters and you got a bunch of product and you're making it and selling it and you got a bunch of it stored up in the factory and you're getting it out the door as quickly as you can make it, and suddenly those orders start to taper off just a little. Well, that means that in a couple of months, you're not going to be shipping as much stuff as you were. The transportation average is absolutely perfect at seeing that long before the rest of the market sees it. You'll have markets like NASDAQ, S&P running up, 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 while the transportation average starts this crazy downward spike. That's telling you the guy's going up, going to run out a little steam and have to catch up to the transportation average. That's the way this plays out almost always. It's not 100%, right? You can't count on every time the transportation average goes down, it's going to pull the other markets with it, because sometimes it drops only a little and then catches up. But when it gets into a frenzy, it is the leader. It pulls the others back down. So I believe the Dow Jones Transportation Average is anticipating the threat of tariffs actually coming to fruition in 2025. How do I know? Well, look what it's starting to do. Look inside this shaded area. It is just starting to go down, while NASDAQ making all-time new highs, S&P making all-time new highs, the Dow making new highs. Why is the transportation average going down? Well, let's see if it makes sense to you. Tariffs, by their very nature, generally are the cause and effect of less goods being transported to and from the United States. I believe the transportation average is adjusting itself for what it sees in the near future as far as needs for transportation. Remember that a market, and especially a chart, it's always foretelling. They're called futures markets. They foretell what's going to happen. And if you know how to read a chart, I promise you, it is better than any system. It is better than anyone that you could speak to. It's better than any advisory service. The chart always tells you what's going to happen. Those recommendations I put out are based on chart only. You've seen the results. I've got a crowd following me for my entire career because I use charts to come up with great trades. Not my noggin. I am not intelligent enough to come up with great trades by meditating. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen for anybody. You need to be a fantastic analyst, which I can teach you to be, to call these markets properly without any of this getting involved. So if markets are foretelling the future, charts are foretelling the future, you've heard me say this many times. I have stated this my entire career since the 80s when I figured it out. A chart is merely just a visual look at all the government reports, quarterly earnings, cookbooks that are going to be announced that we don't know about, soon to be reported, all the news that could possibly come out, geopolitical or otherwise, traders' reaction to that news, you name it. You know what? It's all built into this chart right here in front of your eyes. You do not need to read the news. You do not need to have a fire hose of information getting shot at you and you trying to disseminate it and come up with where should I buy? It's all right here. I promise. That's how I come up with such fantastic recommendations. That's how we come up with such great year-end calls. The Omni has called where the S&P would go for 16 years in a row. It has nailed it clean every year. Ask anybody who follows me. I think we had one year where the market went up, came back down, and stayed exactly where it was, maybe 2012, somewhere around there. So no one called it right that year. Barring that, January every year I come up with where the market will go. People tell me I'm crazy almost every year. We nail it cold every single year. Why? Because I don't think for a moment about what's going to happen. I use the chart only. So that being said, with the transportation average looking so ugly, the NASDAQ's got a completely different look to it. Check this out. The NASDAQ has been going up, 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 up. That's all it wants to do. While the transportation average has that nasty pullback. This is what we have to start watching out for. What should we be cautious of? So that is what we need to speak about now. What to watch out for. These next few charts and markets, in my opinion, are what we should be watching out for and paying attention to in the future, in the near future, what we should be trading, paying attention to from the moment you walk away from this webinar for the next few weeks. What am I speaking about? You'll see in just a moment. First off, we'll go in here. This is now the portion of this webinar is what should we be watching out for in the future. This chart, which may be confusing, but I will try to make it simple for you. It is an overlay chart where the blue bars are NASDAQ, the red and green bars are the Dow Jones Transportation Average. We just looked at both of them. One going down, the other one going up. What's supposed to happen in most cases is, if you look back here, let me just grab a little tool so I can move around a little circle for us. If you look back here, they kind of stay with each other, right? The charts are all over each other. The blue bars and the red and green bars kind of overlapping. They stay together. They stay together. Ooh, what's this? A widening. Look, it got a little wide, got a little wide. Well, that continued to go and go. And I don't know if anyone remembers this. I did many webinars about this with this exact same chart. And here's what I told you. The rubber band has stretched too far. This is my divergence meter, if you will. The rubber band between the transportation of goods and the companies that produce the goods has expanded too far. A contraction will take place, a reckoning will take place. And what happened? The NASDAQ tumbled, caught up to the transportation average and then continued to crash. This all just happened in August this year. You guys don't remember it? I remember it very well. I did many seminars and webinars about it. You guys have seen this chart. All right, so that was what happened then. Well, they've gotten back together and they kind of get a little apart here, but stay together, a little apart here, stay together, a little apart here, and they get back together, but look what's happening now. Now, if it starts to go far, I'll draw like a circle at the top of it and the bottom of it and a line to see how far apart it is. Well, look at how far apart these two have gotten all of a sudden. And you've got this still dropping with the other one not. So the divergence is taking place. The rubber band is expanding again. And here's what I am telling you. There's no way the other markets will not come down if the transportation average keeps going next few days, next week or so. There's no shot that NASDAQ and S&P can go up without it. They have to come back. Just like you see here, this is exactly what happens. When they get too far apart, they have to come back together. That is the very nature of how our markets are pricing themselves. They work off of one another. No market is standalone. This market means something to that market, which means something to that market, and collectively, they create a collage. Well, you cannot have this sector going up and that sector going down. The rubber band's expanding again. It will create a reckoning. Now, transportation average could stop going down tomorrow and start following NASDAQ. That'd be okay. But that's not what's happening. Transportation average is trying to speak. I'm listening. I'm showing it to you. So you've seen that divergence chart. Let's just go back here a minute and remember one side of that chart. It's only the NASDAQ and the transportation. This is your NASDAQ going in that direction. This is your transportation average going in the other, and I promise you it can't continue that way without a reckoning. That's one of the first things I want you to keep a watch out for. And I watch this every day, so you can always join me in my trading room and ask me, how is that chart doing, the divergence meter? What else would I want you to watch out for? Oh yeah, check this out. Here's where we need to go next. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to this one, but it's my job to keep you apprised or appraised of what's going on. Watch out for the double top to come in Tesla on a weekly bar, no less. Top one, top two. It is going to happen. You're going to absolutely react to that double top. There's no shot Tesla's just going to blow right through that double top, because the first top is in 2021. We're getting to the second top in 2024 or 25. There's going to be a reaction up there. I promise you. That's way too far apart to not have a reaction. So watch out for Tesla and watch out for that. Dano's in my trading room typing boo because he's long Tesla. I'm sorry, Dano. I'm just reading the charts, buddy. Look, I'll show you. He's in my chat room listening. He just went boo. I'm sorry, Dano. Nothing against you, buddy. Love you to death. All right. So what else do we have going on here? So you're going to watch out for that divergence meter, which is NASDAQ doing this, transportation doing that. It cannot continue without a reckoning. You're going to keep your eye on Tesla because everyone's getting long Tesla, and Elon Musk is the president's friend and all that good stuff. Charts are charts. Follow the charts. Not this, follow the charts. All right, so what else do we have I want you to watch out for? Oh yeah, check this out. You'll like this. Coffee traders. Now, I've been telling for 3 or 4 months now, I've been silently telling lots of my traders about this, and I absolutely put this in my last live webinar. Coffee. The coffee market is silent killer. It is absolutely the next cocoa. I promise. It's been going on for a long time, and look at the trajectory happening now. It's silently turning into a monster. Coffee, KCH25, KCH25. Look it up, or actually on Metastock, my bad, it's KCH5. There's no 2 in there, my bad. It's KCH5. And look up coffee. It is the new cocoa. Look at the trajectory on this thing. Coffee doesn't belong here. Coffee's cheap. Coffee belongs in the 150s. What is it doing at 330? It's going to continue. Why? Well, first off, the trajectory itself tells you it's going to continue. Second, let me show you what it's doing and why this is happening to coffee. No, we're going to go with this one. Yeah, we'll try that again. All right, cocoa traders. I pointed this out to people years ago, actually. Cocoa started to do this, and I started to do webinars about it. I said, look, just like coffee is shaping up now, look at what cocoa did. It was silent, just went up from 1,200, 1,300, 1,500, 3,000. No one paid attention, right? Nobody paid attention to cocoa, and look what ended up happening. It absolutely positively went berserk. It's a $10,400 commodity. $10,400. Now, here's what happened with cocoa. Cocoa is only grown in Ghana, the Ivory Coast. There's only a few places cocoa will grow. Cocoa went from a few hundred to a few thousand. All the cocoa farmers were killed. Goodbye, wiped out, killed, dragged off the farms, and cartels took over, and cocoa is now $10,000. It's insanity. Well, coffee, I promise you, is the new cocoa. This is the new cocoa because no one is paying attention like they didn't pay attention to cocoa. Now, you can grow coffee in more places than just the Ivory Coast and Ghana, but it doesn't grow everywhere, and it takes 5 to 7 years to get anything from a cocoa or a coffee tree, either of the two. So if you started planting today, it would be 5 to 7 years before you harvested any of it. They are driving this the same way they drove cocoa. Keep your eyes on this monster, coffee. What else do we have? So where is the economy going now? Where are the markets going? Where is this going to take us? All right, so I showed you some commodities and I showed you the AI. Where are we going? Well, there's a few markets that'll explain exactly where we're going. Excuse me just a moment. First off, if you know where this one's going, it'll help you know where almost everything else is going. And let me show that to you. Crude oil. This is a weekly chart of crude oil. So each one of these daily bars is one full week. It has been getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper because it used to be up there, all the way up there, down, getting cheaper, getting cheaper, getting cheaper. Then it falls out of this pennant flag and creates a continuation pattern, which is a baby head and shoulders, which means it wants to go lower still. The price of crude going lower helps every single company and every country across this planet, everywhere. Everybody gets an immediate stimulus in their pocket when crude goes down. Crude has been going down for a while. It is absolutely helping propel the economy and the stock market. What else do we have? On the other side of that is, and I think I'm on 12 here, yes. 30-year T-bonds, traders. Now look at this chart. I don't know if you know how this works, but if the T-bond futures market is going down, when bonds are going down, interest rates are spiking. Bond futures down means interest rates up. That's how this works. So the interest rates are spiking when bonds go down. Well, ever since we got to the bottom of that descend, we've been going up. Same sort of trend that took us down, we're starting to go up. You know what happens when bonds go up? Interest rates go down. Inherent, has to happen. Jerome Powell does not have to come out and say a single word to raise or lower rates. Bond traders and banks can raise and lower rates by knocking bonds down, raising rates, running bonds up, lowering rates. That happens. It's been happening since the market started. So Jerome does not have to raise rates or lower rates. The Fed does not have to say a word. The street can do it for us. The street and the Fed are working together to lower rates. Fed's been lowering, street's been buying bonds. So if you got crude starting to come down, you got bonds coming down, which is put bonds going up, excuse me, so it's pushing interest rates down. That, my friends, propels an economy. Absolutely, positively propels an economy. Now let's think slightly longer term, not what might happen over the next few weeks or even the next quarter. Let's look at longer term. Let's go out and look at weekly charts. E-mini S&P. Look at this weekly chart. There is no analyst on the planet, even a blind one, would say that this is bearish. There is just nothing about this to call it bearish. Does a market ever just go straight up? No. Up, 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 pull back. Up like crazy, pull back. Up like crazy, pull back. Up like crazy. Can you say the words? Yes, it will have to happen. Into next year, especially if the especially if the transportation average continues to drop, we'll have to have another one of these, but that's all you're going to get. The market is not going to fall apart with interest rates going down and crude going down. There's just no way you're going to knock the market down. Now, I mentioned that every year I give out an E-mini S&P target in the beginning of the year, and we were down in the 3,700 area, and everyone told me I was out of my mind. 4,700 area, excuse me. Where were we in the beginning of the year? Right around here. So we were right around the 4,600 area, 4,690, 4,700. I offer 60-55, like I do every year. I put a grandiose target out there. It's always based on technical analysis. I get ridiculed for the first 6 months of the year, and then people start going, Oscar, how did you know? And boom, we hit our target every year. Ask anybody who knows me. We hit it again, 60-55, right there at the circle. Bingo. No one on this planet is as good as the Omni with coming up with these year-end targets. I've never seen anyone hit for 15 years exactly where it should go. Never seen it in my life. The Omni does it. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of it almost, but it does it. You guys seen this. I put this out at the beginning of the year. So this chart looks fantastic. I don't see why that would be spiraling anytime soon. A pullback? Yes. A bear market? Don't see one here. Then we've got another one to look at. Look at the NASDAQ. This is my chart masterpiece. It's been working for so long. It's an amazing chart. We actually gave a NASDAQ target out this year too. I only gave it out to my trading room and in my videos, but I didn't do a webinar about it. And we came up with 21,636. We were at the 17 level. We got to 21,636 yesterday. I kid you not, this Omni is very powerful, kids. So does this chart look bearish to you? Would you think that this looks like a market that you'd call the downside on? Now, can we drop back down to the line right here, which of course could be made a little tighter? Can we drop back down to this? Yeah, why not? That'll drop us down 1,000 points. Who knows? But is it bearish? Not anything we're seeing, no. So overall, with crude going down, the prospects of us pumping more crude once the new regime comes in next year, more crude going down further, interest rates being dropped, I mean, that is a recipe for up, up, up for our stock markets, kids. So that then brings us back here. And let's go take a look at what we have left. That brings us to Nvidia once again. Now that we've looked at all of that, I want you to recognize that now it's affordable because of, of course they cut the stock down in price, right? So Now it's affordable, and it will lead this group higher and higher and higher. Yeah, there's some talk that the Chinese are doing an investigation. So what? It's not going to stop Nvidia from doing all the wonderful stuff that it does. So Nvidia will continue to lead that group higher, and the AI revolution will take our stock market higher. Absolutely, positively. Now, there is Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I wanted to cover as well. So let's go take a look at a couple of those. Bitcoin, so Ethereum. If you've been following my videos, you would know that I have told people for the last few weeks now, start to get ready for this, for Ethereum. Why? Well, because the market, Bitcoin is getting too expensive for the mere mortal. It's just getting too expensive. So if you've got an alternative that's way cheaper, like this one, why wouldn't you just go with this? Well, that's what some people are starting to do. So I prepared people. I said, look, Ethereum's going to start to go because now Bitcoin has broken to 100,000. It's just a little bit too expensive for almost anyone entry level to get into crypto. So you will start to go after Ethereum, plus Ethereum got above this massive resistance, right? This big blue line got above that, looks good. Certainly going to move in sympathy with Bitcoin, which is sitting right here. Let's go look at that Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin, we also did an 85,000 target in Bitcoin, but boy, did I get ridiculed for that target, kids. I cannot tell you how much trouble I got for putting out that target, but I bought Bitcoin. I'm still holding Bitcoin. We blew through 85. That target was hit. The Omni is very good at what it does, kids. So where's Bitcoin going now? I've got two targets for you. 106,500. Then 109,500. Those targets were driven before we ever got to 100,000 Bitcoin price. So it almost hit 106.5 already, right? It got to 105 and change. These targets remain valid. Bitcoin, like everything else I showed you in the AI portfolio, look at this insane trajectory that took place once we broke out of the big flat. So let's make this fatter, thick, so you can see it. Apply. Wonderful. See how it just started to really, the trajectory just started to expand and move much, much faster, much higher. And now, between these blue lines shows you the trajectory going on compared to the sideways movement. It is just exploding. Nothing goes straight up, kids, but these targets will be seen. So that is what I wanted to present to you as far as charts, what you should be watching out for, what should happen next, and where we could be going. If there are any questions or concerns, I'll be more than happy to speak with you about them. But I think I kind of showed you everything I wanted to show you here. And it all started, of course, with the AI Nvidia portfolio. Traders, thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope this helps. I hope I taught you a couple of tricks here, or at least showed you a few things that you should be looking out for into the new year. And if you want to join me, don't forget, just go to omnibootcamp.com or come to livewithoscar.com, and you can easily join me for absolutely free right here in my live trading room, and we'll work together. Jeff, thank you so much for letting me present. I enjoyed doing that.
Of course. Always entertaining. We do have one question that I'm interested for you to answer.
What do you have?
Would you sell Starbucks due to higher coffee prices?
It's absolutely going to hurt Starbucks at some point, but there's a lot of coffee, right? So it's not like cocoa yet. There is a lot of coffee, but absolutely positively, if Starbucks has to pay more for their product, and it's getting very expensive, not just a little more, they're either going to charge you more or their stock's going to go down. So yes, they will feel the pain of coffee moving higher if it continues.
Thanks for the question, William. All right, that's it. I wonder if that's why the price of candy was up.
Let me do this. Traders, thanks for tuning in. And remember, a motto that I try to tell everyone that follows me, it sounds simple and it sounds like something you shouldn't do, but it has saved the lives of more traders than I could count. That is, put your stop in before you trade and put that stop in first. One of the things I tell people is to say this to yourselves. Once you've done that, And most of my Omniacs know what I'm about to say. Are you with me, Omniacs? Say it with me if you're listening. 1, 2, 3. Stops are in. Here's where it gets important. Emotions are out. Put that stop in first. It helps you keep your emotions in check. I hope I helped you today. Thanks for tuning in.